Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. Well, new into our newsroom tonight, a person died in the hospital after being hit by a car in Spokane Valley. According to the Washington State Patrol, that person was hit on Highway 27 and Valley Way Avenue earlier tonight. Troopers say emergency crews rushed the victim to Sacred Heart Medical Center, but they later died from their injuries. The State Patrol is asking drivers to avoid the area as they investigate. Well, this week marks a busy and notable one for the Spokane Police Department after they arrested the same suspect 3 different times for a series of thefts from the exact same car lot. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy breaks down the story tonight.
50-year-old Larry W. Griffin's been arrested not once, not twice, but 3 times this week. 2 of those arrests happened here at Aroda's Mitsubishi on North Division Street, taking 2 of their cars off the lot. For General Manager Sam Van Valer, thefts on the lot are something to prepare for.
Knowing it's going to happen, doing as much you can to prevent it.
But this week proved to be an unusual one for his business, having the same man arrested 3 times for stolen cars. The first arrest on Monday, Spokane police report a car was stolen off the lot. Staff say it was a black Grand Cherokee. SPD says the car was recovered and they arrested and booked Griffin into the Spokane County Jail. He was released the next day. Then on Wednesday at 1:30 a.m., officers responded to the business again, discovering Griffin vehicle prowling. SPD report police arrested him for 3 counts of vehicle prowling before eventually being released and given a citation to appear in court. SPD reports on Thursday, officers responded to the business yet again for a stolen vehicle complaint, discovering Griffin stole what staff say was a red Ford F-150.
Our frustration was that he had got out so quickly just to do it again.
Van Valer says Griffin apologized to staff for the thefts. Police arrested him yet again and booked him into the Spokane County Jail, where he remains as of Friday night.
I'm not a guy who's crime and punishment, but if there's no consequence at all, there's no reason for him to stop.
He says they're being more diligent with their cars on the lot, but feels at times thefts are inevitable.
It's just the nature of the business at this point.
SPD reports Griffin has prior felony convictions of second-degree robbery. In Spokane, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Connor, thank you so much. Also new tonight, 2 more deer tested positive for chronic wasting disease in North Idaho. According to Idaho Fish and Game, the positive tests were found in deer harvested less than a mile from that first detection of chronic wasting disease last month. Both cases were found during the recent surveillance hunt in North Idaho. Fish and Game says 11 more samples are pending. Well, as we start off our weekend, be sure to enjoy a warm day tomorrow because a cool down is certainly on the way for us. Meteorologist Michelle Voss is getting us going tonight with more on this autumn weekend.
Yeah, we're going to try to pack summer and fall all into one weekend. So it's going to be a little bit of a wild ride. In the short term, things are very quiet. Taking a look at satellite and radar right now, mostly clear skies out there. Temperatures in the mid-70s today, so a gorgeous day, expecting pretty quiet weather overnight. But for Sunday, we're going to be seeing a big cool down that's going to come with some more dust, some wind. Not so much any stormy weather like what we saw on Wednesday, but certainly blowing dust a possibility and cooler temperatures. And because it is so dry, a fire weather watch has been issued for much of the inland Northwest on the Washington side for Sunday due to the windy and dry conditions. Right now, temperatures in the upper 50s in Spokane, 47 in Deer Park, and 50s and 60s scattered across the region. At the 10 o'clock hour, short-term forecast calls for partly cloudy skies. It'll be a nice warm day tomorrow. We're going to be in the 80s, but then winds of change blowing in on Sunday. Cooler, dusty and windy, highs in the 60s, and then staying cool the rest of the week, highs in the 60s on Monday.
Well, let's go now to Night Beat for a quick look at the day's top stories. A wildfire burning near Danville, not far from the Canadian border, is prompting level 2 and 3 evacuations. The Fauquier County Sheriff's Office says level 3 go now evacuations are in effect for the 4th of July Creek Road area. The Sheriff's Office estimates that fires burned at least 1,700 acres and is 0% contained. We're getting new video tonight from KREM 2 viewer Hayden showing the moments a wildfire in Whitman County exploded. The The Long Hollow fire has grown to 4,000 acres. It's burning along the Snake River near Almada and Lower Granite Dam. Hayden says he was working on the Snake River when he noticed the fire and called authorities. The Whitman County Sheriff's Office says there are no evacuations at this time. Deputies say lightning caused the fire. At the same time, 50-mile-per-hour winds tore through the area. No structures have been lost as the fire's been burning in remote fields. And famed British actor Dame Maggie Smith has died at the age of 89. From her role as the Dowager Countess on Downton Abbey to the Harry Potter films, she was a face familiar to many generations. She died this morning in a London hospital. She's now survived by her 2 sons and 5 grandchildren. Smith won 2 Oscars over her long career. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website, KREM.com. Well, the death toll continues to rise as Helene battered Florida and moved over the southeast. At least 43 people are reported dead in several states. Right now, emergency crews are desperately working to rescue people trapped in flooded homes after the storm struck Florida's Gulf Coast as a Category 4 hurricane, causing a massive storm surge. CBS's Tom Hansen is in Tallahassee with the latest tonight.
Floodwaters inside this Tennessee hospital forced patients and their caregivers to seek shelter on the roof. Emergency responders used helicopters to rescue about 50 people and bring them to safety. There were emotional reunions when those stranded were back on the ground and safe. In Helene's aftermath, drone footage in hard-hit Florida shows widespread flooding on Siesta Key near Sarasota.
Godspeed, Cedar Key. This is Whidden heading down the Gulf. I was trying to make it to my mama's house, but it's neck deep here.
Cedar Key is among countless places where people were rescued overnight as Helene battered the southeast.
Whatever the wind damage was far outweighed by the surge. I mean, it's just when you have all this water coming in, it's just devastating.
This team in South Pasadena, Florida, called out for people who might need help when several homes caught fire. Helene is the 3rd hurricane to hit the Big Bend region of the Sunshine State in the last 13 months.
Here in Tallahassee, the state capitol was spared a direct hit, but the deadly storm still took out trees and power lines. At the height of the hurricane, millions across the southeast were without power.
In Georgia, sparks flew as power lines were downed. Helene ripped the roof and walls from this building in Valdosta. North Carolina forecasters warned of nearly unprecedented flooding.
Helene is causing life-threatening flash flooding, numerous landslides and downed trees, causing power outages. Flooding will continue through the weekend in some areas.
And a suspected tornado caused damage on the ground in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, injuring several people. Tom Hansen, CBS News, Tallahassee, Florida.
Well, as the November election continues to get closer, some deadlines are fast approaching tonight. Idaho's officially 2 weeks away from the voter registration deadline. Now, voter registration needs to be postmarked on October 30th. If you're planning to do your voter registration online, you'll need to have it done by midnight on October 11th. You can do this on the voteidaho.gov website.
And if you're doing it online or using your driver's license to register to vote, but you've moved since you currently got your driver's license, then you need to make sure you bring proof of residency if that's not updated with the driver's license.
Now, if you're planning to register for an absentee ballot for this year's election, that needs to be at the elections office by October 25th. In the meantime, next week, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz face off in the first and only vice presidential debate. That debate is set for Tuesday night at 6. You'll only be able to watch that debate on KREM 2 News. And also mark your calendars tonight. We'll be hosting a 5th District congressional debate on Wednesday, October 30th, with the 2 candidates hoping to replace Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers. Candidates Carmela Conroy and Michael Baumgartner will be here in the KREM 2 studio. We'll be asking questions important to Eastern Washingtonians. The hour-long and commercial-free debate starts at 7 that night on KREM 2, KSKN 22, and KREM's digital streaming platforms. And we also want to remind you that you can keep up with all of your political news with our streaming platform, KREM 2 Plus. It is free to download on Roku, Amazon Fire, and on Apple TV. Well, an area organization is launching a new campaign pushing to make behavioral health care more accessible to everyone. Nuestras Raíces was founded by the Hispanic Business Professional Association. The group's raising money to replace the current office space they're leasing with a new building with more space to accommodate their services, especially for people of color.
We know, from experience that there's a pretty big gap of culturally inappropriate mental health providers in Eastern Washington.
She also says their services are open to everyone in the community. All right, we know what that music means. Tonight marks the return of a KREM 2 favorite. Of course, we are talking about Football Fridays. Be sure to join us tonight on the second half of KREM 2 News at 11 for our high school football show. There are several big games happening around the Inland Northwest that we're covering tonight, so be sure to join us on KREM 2 News at 11. We'll see you there. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.